Hello everyone. Welcome back to Refract.
We have our first guest today. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
And our topic is
the music industry, the entertainment industry, influences of music on us. And guess who? Welcome, Ruth Meshikhi.
Close enough.
Just kidding.
Meshikhi.
Yeah, perfect.
Meshikhi.
Merengue. Macarena.
Wow.
What's your name?
That's it.
Okay.
All four of those together.
Nice.
So Ruth is here to talk about a very interesting experience, as you say, life-changing experience, about her experience at a Drake concert.
And how it changed her life.
Yeah. This message has been cut off. What is this, our third time filming? We've been having some technical difficulties each time we've tried to film this. The phone will just stop recording magically, and then our light fell apart, and
It
Shivered.
it shivered. The phone was shaking.
And there was no notifications, nothing, no recordings, like literally zero recordings.
Yeah, after we had clicked record and made sure.
Or it would stop at 6 minutes. Oh, it's 6 minutes.
Is it 6?
No, it was 6:41, but still sus.
6.
That's weird.
Anyway.
But anyways, we will keep trying.
We're going to get this message out there. It does not matter.
It does not matter if Satan does not want us to. I'm excited to hear about your experience. Even
Again.
though I've heard it 4 times.
And again. And again.
Yeah. All reactions are
real. They're real.
100%
We've never heard the story
real.
before.
Yeah, never.
So,
tell us about your experience.
You went to a Drake concert in August.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely life-changing for you. What was your experience there? What did you see? What happened?
Yeah, so first off, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me on this podcast. I'm very honored to be your first guest.
Seriously.
I'm very excited for the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've heard it there. Thank you.
Just have to reiterate it.
Yeah. It's for you guys.
So basically the music industry and actually how evil it is surprisingly my testimony into why I chose to follow the Lord after everything that I saw and everything that was really just shown to me. I was just like, I cannot be a part of this anymore, and this is not who I am. So in August of last year, Drake came to Vancouver, and I went to both of his shows, and basically Sparks Notes version. My year was full of nonsense, really. I was just partying and going to different places, meeting new people. It was just a hierarchy that I was on, this kind of high of meeting more powerful, more interesting people. And this Drake concert was one of those situations where I was like, whoa, we might actually meet Drake tonight. That was actually a conversation that we had. And that's all we had really on our minds was just the next best thing. We were just very much just climbing this social ladder for I don't even know what. It was for our own pride, honestly. Saying that we're just so good that we get to meet all these millionaires, billionaires.
Yeah.
And we get to be a part of all of these. We get invited to these crazy parties. Anyway, that is the high that I was on. So I really expected nothing from this Drake concert, but when the Lord moves, he moves. So the first night I was drinking like any other night, and I really didn't see anything, didn't feel any different. I still saw the same show. It was obviously the same show, but I had a very, very different experience the second night. The second night, I couldn't really get drunk, and I didn't really understand why. I was very much drinking a lot, and no matter what, I had a sober mind. So I was kind of forced to just look at what this concert is all about, and just looking at who I am surrounded with and what I'm doing. And it brought everything to the light. And the main thing that really stuck out to me at the Drake concert was everything that he was showing, every kind of prop that he was bringing out. When I tell you he was only bringing out demonic props or changing the stage to look like a portal or to look like an all-seeing eye. And he even threw up the Illuminati sign at some point. Mm-hmm. And it's just all symbolism, and it's all like very much he is telling you straight to your face who you are worshiping tonight.
Yeah.
You are worshiping who he worships.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just, and I was blind. I was so blind to it. And I know a lot of people our age are so blind to what the music industry is mm-hmm. and what these concerts are doing and how they're actually harming you. And so, yeah, that was kind of what happened. I just, my eyes were opened. Like, my spiritual eyes were so open. Mm-hmm. And I just saw things for what they were. Yeah. And I said, I can't believe what I've been doing for so long. I can't believe that I was a part of this for so long. And I was totally okay with, like, everything that these artists are saying and how they're representing themselves. And I'm singing it. I'm singing their filth. I'm literally singing their filthy music. And honestly, yeah, I think we're just going to talk about how music really does impact your life, and it impacts how you think, mm-hmm. how you talk, how you walk, like how you treat people. It really does. So
I remember seeing you after you came back from this, and you have like a very strong personality. You have a strong spirit. You have a strong sense about you. You can tell when you're in the room. And so I knew how it felt to be around you. And then I remember seeing you, I think the first time was on the beach when I was beading and you showed up. I think that was the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were completely different. I don't even know if I've told you this, but the like energy about you was so soft and like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was soft. And like you were wearing your skirt, like you were wearing this really cute shirt, and you just like very much like stood out, but you were like quiet and subtle and soft. And I was like, I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, I should ask her if she's okay. Like it looks like she's been wounded. Like it doesn't look like it. It feels like she's been like hurt. I was like, what is going on? So then you kind of told me your experience, and I was like, this makes sense. You are literally changed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I had so much, and I still have so much peace. Like, I've never thought I could have ever had, mm-hmm. you know? Like, peace only comes from God, and if you have no peace, you have no peace. Nothing. Like, so, yeah, I did hear that a lot, because I don't really see it, obviously, because it's happening in me.
Yeah.
But other people have said, like, full 180, like, 100%. Which is crazy, I think. Mm-hmm. But it's not me. I didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. I just gave it to God and said, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Please help me. Mm-hmm. And he did absolute miracles. Like absolute miracles for the past few months. Yeah. So.
You're saying, right, there's all these like explicit props and displays at the concert, and those are things that, you see at the concert, but you don't see that really translated on the media unless somebody posts like a live recording. But unless I like really look for it, I couldn't even like find a clip of like what you were talking about unless I went and looked for it. You don't see Drake like throwing up signs or like see him on stage with these like props. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's hidden too, and it like hides the reality of the situation. And everyone there is just like we talked about, in this like hypnotic state where they're just like so taken by like his power and his strength and like his
well, it feeds their flesh, right? It feeds their like desires,
right?
And
because in the media you don't get that, right? Like if you're going through Instagram or TikTok, like you don't get that hypnotized or whatever it is that you're getting when you're live, so that's why you're not seeing it in the media.
It's just it's just like he's this funny guy. He's like relatable.
Right.
He's from Toronto. Like
he seems very non-problematic.
Yeah.
Like he's like very chill. Like not a lot of people have much bad to say about him. And he makes good music that people like and relate to.
Yeah.
So
that's like the surface of it.
Yeah.
That's what it's marketed as. And to quote the Bible and to like quote Lecrae when he talks about like sin is so beautiful, covered in its lace of lies. It's so true. It is so true.
He was the minister of music, right? So like he
Satan
has
was.
sorry?
Satan was the minister.
Yeah, Satan was. Yeah, not Drake. Satan was. So yeah, he has an influence on what you're doing, and he has a connection with music, and it's so obvious what he's doing to the music industry. It is so obvious.
Yeah.
You could see it with all of Hollywood. It is so scary, and like I've said already 4 times, in the Bible, music was created to glorify God, and if you're not doing that with music, like you're glorifying something else.
Yeah.
So if you're not worshiping God through your music, you're worshiping Satan.
Yeah. And with all these artists in Hollywood, it's not like we're condemning them in any way. Just kind of bringing to the light of what is the truth and what you are actually listening to. Yeah. Just because obviously there's nothing wrong with Drake or there's nothing wrong with Lil Nas X. Like they are humans, unfortunately, being used by the enemy for his plan and what he wants. And it's really sad, but we need to pray for everybody that is in the Hollywood industry, because it is really sad that they have taken these souls and he's using them for his own good and just throwing them out like they're nothing.
He's selling them a lie that they believe that they are, in a sense, gods themselves. I mean, Drake explicitly says it, and actually Lil Nas says it as well, that he's like risen like Jesus or whatever he says, whatever mockery he says of Christ. That, the lie is like that we are our own gods and we are our own saviors and like we control our lives and basically everything revolves around us. And I mean, I'm not in the industry, but I assume you get so caught up in you being the center of the universe. For the girls as well, Doja Cat and you said Sabrina Carpenter. But I like what you said, that that doesn't mean that we hate on them or like shun them or like
condemn them.
them.
We pray for them.
Yeah. And that is exactly what should be happening.
Yeah, you love your neighbors. I just wanted to share in Corinthians, it said, "And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. The devil's greatest weapon is deception. The most effective deception is to convince people that what is evil is actually good and what is dark is actually light." And yeah, it just brings back to like what I was saying, like before Lucifer's fall, like he was the minister of music, you know? And so he has such a deep influence with all the music, and he's making you feel these ways. Like you were talking about, like the studies that have been literally proving music has a huge influence in all your behavior. You know, like if you're listening to sad music, you're going to feel sad. If you're listening to music about murder and sex and drugs, like you're gonna be influenced in that way. And like I brought it up before, like when you guys work together, what kind of music were you guys listening to? And you were saying like you had an attitude, you
Definitely.
it
was
just
like an anthem to the night.
And
it was the energy for the night.
And regardless, like take religion part aside, whatever, if you don't believe in Satan and stuff, there's still like facts proving that whatever music you listen to affects your behavior. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Take it as you want.
Like Jesus tells us to like meditate on him day and night. And like what you said, like the repetition of like listening to these songs and repeating them out loud, repeating them in your head, they become what you're meditating on, what you're always thinking about. Like if you're just humming along a tune, da 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 da, it's so harmless. It's just a good tune. It's just a good bop. But like I always find myself getting the most horrible songs stuck in my head because the beat is so catchy. And that is 100% intentional. All these like hits, they will get stuck in your head and they are paired with like these atrocious lyrics. And you think about them and you think about the content. Like often I want to talk about it is like the sexuality in it. The sexuality, like, yeah, that like men talking about women or men talking about men. And then women as well talking about their own sexuality and like the way that they use it to control men. And yeah, it's just, anyways, that getting stuck in your head will change the way that you think, 100%. Will change the way that you perceive situations. It will put you in a state of mind, it'll put you in a mood, and it will alter your perception of reality.
And why do you think most music, all music that is secular, always has an underlining agenda? Like there's always like some kind of agenda with the song. So if you're listening to rap, what is rap all about?
Yeah, it's like,
it's about sex, murder, drugs,
just trapping.
It's just about literal filth, and it hardly is ever about anything good. And you could say that with any other genre too that is secular. It's
EDM.
And even if we talk about country, like they talk about what? Girls and beer. Girls and beer and country. And it's just so clearly like what do you see when you see those people listening to that music? They turn into that music. If you see people listening to rap, they're going to turn into very like angry people. They're going to turn into prideful
100%.
people. They're going to turn into very lustful people. And same thing with any other genre. Like if we're talking about pop, it's a lot about love songs. And girls really love pop. And what do you find them doing? Idolizing relationships. How is that any good? You're idolizing relationships, and then when you have a breakup, it's the end of the world. And your entire life is over.
It's almost making a breakup like desirable as well. It's like you're romanticizing like killing your ex-boyfriend or like...
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, like even think about like Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Like you see people that listen to those songs and you're kind of like, I hate men. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. And I feel like a lot of women are in this mindset that they hate men.
Yeah.
And in what way is that good for anybody? There's no good that comes out of this type of music.
Yeah. When
you actually look at it, you step back and you look at what kind of mindset you have now listening to this music versus if you listen to gospel music or at least even just music that praises God. Your entire mindset changes, and the way that you think about people, the way that you talk to people, everything changes. I'm a testimony to this, like literally. Everything changes.
And I feel like a lot of people think like a lot of Christian songs are like they're slow, they're boring. There's like great like Christian rap, like Christian country songs, like Christian Spanish songs, there's even Christian EDM. Like there is
Christian EDM. What does that mean?
It's just it's the EDM like beats, but they're like praising God. Like they're literally like we praise God. Like I don't know. I've heard them. You can EDM. Like there's like Christian clubs and stuff, but. Yeah, like you can find them on Spotify. Like not all Christian songs are slow and boring. Like there's all genres of Christian songs, and you could tell that God is speaking through them and he's gifting them such a beautiful talent to glorify in his name. Like you can tell like that's what I like about it. Like it's not like Satan can control all music, you know? There is still really good artists out there that God is speaking through and gifting them with such a beautiful talent to do that.
We heard of Jimmy Levy. Jimmy Levy, he kind of like started to get popular during the pandemic, and he was just speaking out against like all sorts of organizations and the music industry as well. Anyways, he's just an example of an artist with a really amazing message and a really amazing voice. The power of music and the power of words, and how Satan is not the owner of all music, obviously. And it just makes me think of, in the Bible, instances when like anthems and music was used for good. Like what was it, the story of like Jericho, where they were marching around the city and they were singing, and they weren't like, they didn't do anything other than sing and chant, and the walls came crashing down. And I mean, that's the power of music, and just the power of like words. I mean, this whole world is created through words and through song, through Jesus speaking, you could say, singing these things into existence. So it's not all owned by the devil, it's not all bad, but we can use it for good or bad.
The music is finding its way into our homes, into our cars, into the gym, into work, into, you know, daily things, and it has a huge impact in your heart and mind. And it makes you realize why Satan is doing these things and why he's so mad. And he was being selfish, and he didn't get a second chance, and we do all the time, and we are forgiven for our sins, and we get other chances because we walk with him. And he doesn't like that. And, you know, he's showing you that through music. And
he was cast out of heaven for trying to be like God, and he thought that he could be God and be better. And so now that's a lie that he feeds everyone, that
with
we
disguising.
Like you said.
Yeah, I think this generation is especially bad for the deception that the enemy unfortunately has on our age group. That he comes as an angel of light. So what we're really seeing in this generation is everyone basically being their own gods and just living life on their own terms and being whoever they want, whatever they want, basically recreating their identity. And they're having a hard time even just figuring out what gender they are. You know, it's gone really bad that the enemy's lies has really gotten control of this generation, especially when we talk about what's really popular with the new age spirituality. And I was really into that too. So it's a very good lie that the enemy is telling us, that if we just manifest, if we just love ourselves, we just create our own destiny, you know, we can do everything that we put our minds to. Like, nobody can tell us anything because we are our own universe. We are the universe. We are all in our own little universes, and there's nothing above us because we are everything. So if we speak something, it will come. And in and of itself sounds really nice, right? Everyone would love that, to be their own god and their own in their own world where you can do whatever you want. So unfortunately it's gotten really bad in this generation, I think, with the new age spirituality.
And again, it's just packaged as a good thing, as a lie, but evil will always be like that. There will always be like truth tied into it. There will always be like these little white lies. It'll never be like this full truth. That would be like way too obvious, and it wouldn't be as effective. So it's always packaged with like, no, it's like for your own good. It's like a mental health thing. It's like you taking charge. Like, don't let other people take charge. Like, you have so much power within you. All you need to do is realize that and become conscious of that. Like, all of that doesn't sound like bad advice on the surface, but like once you're aware of the goal of the enemy, then you're like, oh, that really goes hand in hand. And it's everywhere in pop culture and music and media, entertainment. one of the questions that I wanted to ask just to talk about was, how would you answer a question when somebody says, should I listen to secular music, or is there any secular music that's okay to listen to? And by secular music, I just mean like any music that is not glorifying God. You can tell when music is for God or not. So how would you talk to somebody? What would you say to them? I'll ask you both. What would you answer with? Should I listen to secular music?
Well, realistically, it all comes down to, first of all, are you walking with God? Do you have a relationship with God? And if not, then that is what you need to seek first. So if you're trying to like skip that part, because a lot of people do that, they try to like skip the repentance part and they try to just live a holy life, live a Christian life, and just try to do it with your own works. But the Lord says, you are not saved by your works. You are saved by grace alone.
Right.
So that's what I would say. I'd say first, look at your heart. What are you actually doing it for?
Yeah.
Why do you want to live like this? Are you actually walking with God or not? If you are, if you know in your heart that you are following the Lord, then He will convict you, and He will tell you and nudge you in the right direction. He will tell you, this is not good music. You should not be listening to this. And you will know. Yeah. It depends on if you're going to answer that or not. Are you going to let your own desires take over? Or are you going to listen to the Lord, who knows what's best for you? And He wants only the best for you. Yeah. So we are actually the only reason that we send ourselves through like these terrible lives at the end of the day, because we are stubborn and we don't listen to God. So if we listen more and we are more obedient, we will have such a prosperous life, and we will have everything that the Lord wants us to have, because He wants us to have everything. We're His children. Yeah. So if we're just obedient, He will show us.
Yeah, it should be for the glory of God. But it's a lot to sacrifice.
Yeah. It is. I loved secular music like so much. Like I couldn't do anything. I had to do whatever I was doing. I had to listen to music. I had to. Even if it was the most like literal filth of garbage. I wanted to listen to it. So it was really hard for me to let that go. But you really have to ask yourself, what is more important? This music and your desire to listen to this music, or is God the most important thing in your life? Because if He is, and you actually love Him, you will give up everything for Him.
Absolutely. I know I struggled with like using music as like a coping mechanism to like feel the strength of it, like feel that hardness. It's like if you listen to like certain rap or whatever, you are like empowered by it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. You can just feel like you do anything, whether it's like you're like out partying or like at the gym even. It's like you just listen to these hard things, like you can get through this. But then you're literally in the gym, you're like building your body to like these evil songs where they're talking about like violence and sex and whatever. You're building like your body to that. But then like you said, there's so much good Christian music. Listening to it, it's a different feeling. It's not like I'm so like hard and powerful. It's a calmer sense, but you can still sense the strength of it, and it's even great.
You feel the difference. Like you feel the difference when you start listening to that music, and you feel closer to the Lord. And I don't know,
I think you experience like true peace. True peace and true confidence. Confidence is not coming from the outside. It's not coming from how you walk in the gym. It's not coming from you showing off everything that you have. It's not coming from that. Inner confidence is true peace, and only God can give you that.
Is there a gray area to, I don't know, still following Jesus, but because I do like there are songs that are not talking about demonic things or bad or evil things like sex and drugs and relationships, but they're not necessarily worshiping Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a gray area, I guess, or is it just black and white? You either listen to music because it was created to glorify God, or you are being hypnotized and like
it'll still have an influence on you.
Satanic music. Right?
Yeah. I don't think that there's a gray area, and I think that this is also like a controversial topic for a lot of Christians too, because a lot of them think that there is this gray area, and if something is not like in your face, terrible, evil, then it's okay. Then it's okay to do. So I think that's the same thing with music. If music it's not in your face bad and it's not telling you like all these evil things, there is still a force that is bringing that music. Okay, so we have the gifts and there are two forces of this world. We don't do anything by ourselves. We have gifts and these forces use our gifts through us. So there are two kingdoms. There is the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. There's no gray area kingdom. So even though it may not seem so bad, it may not seem like it's evil, but if you have discernment, you know what is sent from God and what is not.
I do agree. Music is either for God or it's not. A creation is either used for God or it is not used for God. Do I think that people on their journeys go through these gray areas and figure things out? Yes, I do.
We're going through it.
Yeah, going through a process of just like having your eyes open and like realizing things. But I think what's God's convicted you and you respond to that call. I think it's really hard to go back and unsee what you have seen. If God has convicted you to see these things about this secular music or music that is not of God, it changes you. It changes your desire to listen to that music, and it changes your sensitivity to it. So I just feel like automatically once you're seeking God and you're listening to him, you will just automatically pull back, and what you consume will be so different. So bottom line, are we going to condemn Christians or other people for listening to secular music or asking the question of the gray area? No. But I do believe that if they are truly like seeking God, then they will respond to that conviction, and they will want to listen to things that are pure. I know I was advocating for not so black and white, but I do agree that it is for God or not for God. I do agree with that.
We're all going through a different path. God has a plan for all of us, and even us, like, we're still learning, we're still going through our things, and yeah, it's not easy. It's honestly really hard. It's really hard to listen to God and trust him, but trust that he's good and that he has the best plan for us, and trust your gut when you're listening to music. Think like, is this music making me a better person? Is this music making me feel good? Or is this music making me feel these types of emotions? So
yeah, question what you listen to. Well, are we closing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing, Ruth.
Thank you for having me for the 5th time.
Yeah. Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
Screw music.
No, but it was great. I think we had a really strong message, and it was good hearing everyone's perspective and how we're all aligned. So
careful. Yeah. Be careful. Tread lightly. But
okay.
High five.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is now 1:30 a.m. Do we want to say when we started?
Thanks for watching.
This was supposed to start at
6:30.
6:30.
Then you kiss.
What a day.